I wasn't planning to uncover colonial injustice this afternoon. I was just playing Pokemon Go. Again. Wandering through downtown Newburyport, Massachusetts, I spun a Pokestop. Up popped a name, Witch of Newbury. A weathered plaque, a woman I'd never heard of. Her name was Elizabeth Morse. Tried for witchcraft in 1680. Convicted. Imprisoned. Not hanged. Instead, she was sentenced to house arrest for life. And once I pulled that thread, I couldn't stop. Elizabeth Morse was a midwife, a wife, and a long-standing member of the community in Newbury. She lived with her husband William, a cobbler, and their young grandson John. In 1679, their house became the center of a storm, and not like the weather kind. Rocks pelted their roof. Furniture moved on its own. Shoes floated through the air, so they say. Tools tumbled down the chimney. You know, just a normal Tuesday in Puritan, Massachusetts. At first, suspicion fell on the grandson, who whistled too much and answered questions too little or something, like whatever it was that upset Puritans about young person's behavior. Then a neighbor, Caleb Powell, suggested the boy might be playing tricks. But Caleb, a shipmaster and student of astrology, was already an object of suspicion. He knew things, not midwifery, not those kinds of things, the celestial kind. And that, in the 1600s, apparently was enough to make you the object of suspicion. So Caleb was accused of witchcraft, but acquitted. So the attention then turned to Elizabeth. In May of 1680, she was arrested, tried, and convicted. She was sentenced to death. But her husband William, loyal, persistent, and clearly not here for bad law, petitioned again and again for her release. Governor Bradstreet granted a reprieve. Instead of execution, Elizabeth was confined to her home. She could only leave on Sundays, and only to attend church, escorted by a pastor or a deacon. She lived like that in a 16-rod radius, 264 feet, for the rest of her life. Not exonerated, not forgiven, just stuck. She died around 1693, still legally considered a witch. There's a stone for her in the burying ground of the first settlers in Newbury. It marks her memory, but not her resting place, because convicted witches couldn't be buried in sacred ground, even if they weren't really witches. The stone reads, "Convicted as a witch by her community, may she rest in peace beyond these walls." That hits different, doesn't it? As for her home, that stood at 31 Market Street. Today, it's a parking lot. Unceremonious, asphalted, ordinary parking lot. But right next door is the YWCA, an organization devoted to empowering women, to giving them shelter, opportunity, and space. So side by side, you've got two stories. One about a woman who was confined and silenced, and another about how far we've come. And it blows my mind to think that I found her story in a mobile game, not in a textbook, not on a tour, and I take a lot of tours, just a tap and a spin, and suddenly I was walking with Elizabeth. Sometimes history doesn't knock. Sometimes it just shows up in your pocket and doesn't let go.